Hello, YouTube. How y'all doing today? Welcome to my live. I'm Queen Lillie, and we are talking about Donald Trump. It's so much going on, y'all. Um, some things going on with Epstein and Donnie. It's being alleged that they bought some girls. We're gonna talk about it. That's what's being alleged. Donald Trump and his letter, birthday card he did for Epstein's 50th birthday. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was his 50th birthday. The Democrats acquired Trump's birthday note to Epstein that he claimed didn't exist. Well, the Donald Trump birthday card that he did for Epstein, it exists. The birthday note, it exists, y'all. It does. Donnie just continued to lie. MAGA, are you okay today? MAGA is pissed because the WSJ released that. The White House is lying to us. Trump's signature is on the letter, while his White House, his cabinet, Donnie have them out there lying for him. But we know the truth. We got a lot to cover. Today is going to be more of an Epstein thing. We're going to hit a couple other subjects, but today is mainly about Epstein and Donald Trump. About Donald Trump lying about the whole thing that this birthday note does not exist. Where you're going to hear from different people giving their opinions on it and they're giving the facts on it. But first, we're going to start our live off with Queen Jasmine Crockett first. Let's do some housekeeping. As you come in, please hit that like button. The likes are free. If you want to support my channel, you feeling jolly and you liking what I'm giving you tonight, because I give you what you want, I give you what you need. Satisfaction guaranteed. That comes from me. So if you like what I'm giving you, send me a super chat or a super sticker. You can also send me a Venmo. My Venmo is in my description as well. And my PayPal link is in my description. So if you like what I'm giving you and I'm giving you what you need, send me something. Bless me. Also, I have memberships. If you like to become a member, I have two different kind of memberships. I have the Rubies membership for $4.99, and I have the Diamonds membership for $9.99. So check them out. See if it's something that fits you. I'm quite sure you'll find something that fits you because we go together real bad. We go together. I treat you better than your wife, your sister, your uncle, your mother. We go together real bad. So sit there and enjoy the ride. All of you that are just coming in, please hit the like button. Please hit that like button right now. You will not regret it. I got a show for you, y'all. That Dunny boy is such a compulsive liar. He would know the truth if it stood in his face and headbutted him. He would know the truth. He wouldn't know. God bless his soul. Hello, everybody just coming in. Hit that like button, please. I am Queen Lillie. Welcome to my live. How you doing? How you doing? You are blessed and highly favored. Hello, King Allen. Hello, Mr. Stretch 610. How are you? I'm 5'3". Yes, they are coping over Trump getting booed. I like that. Hello, Fred. How you doing? Hello, Queen Emily. Hello, Low Fresh 73. How you doing, baby? How you doing? Hi, Queen Emily. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show y'all good Jasmine Crockett. She's gonna speak on something. And when she speaks because she speaks with power and knowing what she's talking about because she's knowledgeable. Why? Because she's an attorney. That's why she can give us what we want and what we need. Okay? Hold on.
It is so interesting that we stand here and we're talking about relitigating what has been litigated not once, but twice. And now they have decided that they want to go a third round. You see, if we recall, there was a January 6th committee that had come together. And because of the work that was done on that select committee, we ended up with a number of indictments. And when I say a number, I'm not talking about 5 or 6. I'm talking about well over 1,000 people that were indicted. And then after being indicted, meaning that a grand jury was able to hear the evidence and decide that there was enough for the Department of Justice to go forward. We had a number of cases that were tried. We had a number of defendants that actually entered pleas of guilty. So explain to me why it is that now that we have Trump back in office, they decide that they want to litigate this over again. Here's the reality. I can tell you that the results will still be the same. On that day, there was an attempt to tear apart our democracy brick by brick. In fact, they laid the foundation, unfortunately, for what we are experiencing right now. Because if those in power had done what they should have done, which was to go through with an impeachment conviction, none of us would be enduring what we are enduring now. But again, why now do we want to do this? I personally believe that this is about distractions and division. See, the president doesn't want you to focus on things such as his involvement with the Epstein files. See, the president doesn't want you to focus on things that he promised on the campaign trail, such as to lower costs for the American people. The president doesn't want you to focus on his failed secretary of HHS and the fact that we know almost 100 children thus far have died from something like measles. He doesn't want you to focus on the things that truly matter to the American people that are trying to survive now. Instead, again, he wants to divide and distract. So let me be clear. We are not going to allow them to whitewash this. In fact, the leader was very thoughtful when he decided to put together this team. All of us know a little something about the law because we've all practiced law. We are going to make sure that the American people get the truth, no matter how many lies they put out there. On January 6th, Donald Trump not only incited the attack, he doubled down by pardoning those violent insurrectionists.
Yep, he did.
Do that on his very first day in office. It sends a dangerous message that violence against our democracy is rewarded, not punished.
Amen.
No one, no matter how powerful, is above the law. On this subcommittee, we will follow the facts. We will expose the lies, and we will continue to hold accountable those that try to overthrow the will of the people, including the president. This is not about Democrats versus Republicans. This is about defending the Constitution we all swore an oath to uphold. The American people deserve honesty, accountability, and leaders who will protect democracy, not tear it down. I am committed to making sure that the American people know the truth about January 6th and remember all those responsible for the defilement of the Capitol. You know, it is so interesting that we stand here and we're talking about relitigating what has been litigated not once, but twice. Now they have decided that they want to go.
So, from what I'm gathering for this, apparently,
So
hold on. Hold on, y'all. It has to do with the J6ers. And it says, together we will defeat the Constitution, protect the truth, and make sure the American people never forget who were responsible for the defilement of the Capitol. And that's the January 6th. So that's who she's speaking on. So apparently there's more going on with it. And I disapprove of Donald Trump also giving importance. Why would you give a criminal pardon? But y'all remember, Donnie is a criminal. So of course, those are his soldiers. They're not American soldiers, the J6ers. Although some of them just may be helping with ICE, maybe, allegedly. But they're Donald Trump soldiers. They're not the U.S. military soldiers. They're Donald Trump soldiers. And those people are some sick people. MAGA are very mentally ill, in my opinion. So Trump bought girls. This is something that I'm going to let y'all watch. It said Trump caught buying girl from Epstein. Instantly loses it in a post. Let me take a sip of water there because there's some juicy hot stuff y'all about to hear right quick. It says Trump bought girls. Trump caught buying girl from Epstein. Hold up, wait a minute. I got you, baby. I got that good tea for you. So drink on while I drink my water. You can drink your wine, you can drink your tea, but I'm going to drink me some water so I can still look young. So we're going to listen to this, y'all, because Donald Trump is getting worse every day. He got booed at the U.S. Open, and he up there clapping like they clapping for him. He done.
Donald Trump has tried
tried and failed to run from his Jeffrey Epstein scandal, but it is not going away.
It ain't going away.
We saw the Oversight Committee release the letter that Donald Trump wrote to Jeffrey Epstein in his birthday book. And if you thought that was bad, it only got worse, because the Wall Street Journal, which originally broke that story, has released new reporting on a sale of a girl between Trump and Epstein. You heard that right. They have the photos and the check. We are going to get into what has been the craziest day of this Epstein scandal so far, and the insane posting.
Everything I show you is fair use, great for education, great research, and great entertainment. We're doing research.
Video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we can get into this story, this crazy new Wall Street Journal story of this check, I want to start with what Jasmine Crockett had to say today about the cover-ups happening right now in the White House.
And I also want to point out that it is so rich that the Republicans believe in small government, and this is the biggest government that I've ever seen, because they have decided that now they are going to somehow be the local police that is going to solve local crime as the federal level. That is not what we're supposed to do, especially on our level.
That's how you know they covering up. Hello, Queen, beautiful, victorious one.
That's the lane that we're going to stay in. And the only reason we're talking about January 6th is because the Republicans are the ones bringing this, not us.
Now more than ever, we are going to see Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress use
King Calvin Jackson, he's busted,
to distract us from these stories.
Hello, King Donald Moore.
Especially this
hello, Roger. Even though you rude, hello.
The check that was written. This
hello,
is
Queen Yaya.
The sale of a girl, as outlined in this story, it is absolute madness. But where it all starts, of course, is the story that Robert Garcia wrote today.
CJP. Hey, King, how you doing?
Get to that, but I want to start with Robert Garcia.
Hey, it's Congressman Robert Garcia. As you may have heard, Oversight Democrats just got a hold of the Jeffrey Epstein birthday book and note that, of course, was sent by Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. This note, Donald Trump has said, does not exist.
Yep, he said it didn't exist.
Again, he is lying to the American public and is leading a White House cover-up. Now, I'm going to show you the note that we've now acquired. It's a little crude.
And I'm going to show you more photos and more about that, too.
This is the actual note. You see the president's signature there. You can read some of the words that he is sharing with his friend, Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. President, this is not a hoax. You are lying to the American public. You are involved.
He's the worst liar ever.
Cover-up. Now, the Oversight Committee is going to be reviewing documents we received today. We will not stop until we get justice for the victims of
Jeffrey Epstein and all King Calvin Jackson.
We do not care how powerful you are, how connected you are, how much money and wealth you have, or what political party that you are in. We'll get justice for these survivors, and we'll get to the truth.
It is clear as day that Donald Trump wrote this letter, that Donald Trump sent this letter, and that this letter is a representation of how Donald Trump not only views Epstein's habits as it comes to young girls, but potentially Trump's. It is disgusting, but it is also clear as day. Republicans denied this letter even existed. Donald Trump went forward with a lawsuit to say that this was defamation. Carolyn Levitt is still trying to spin the story. It's not working. We're going to check it out and then get into this latest reporting. As you can see here, it couldn't be clearer that Donald Trump's signature on this letter matches other authenticated signatures of Donald Trump's at the same time. But of course, Carolyn Levitt had to jump in and write the latest piece published by the Wall Street Journal proves this entire birthday card story is false. As I have said all along, it's very clear
she's been getting orange stuff around her mouth,
and he did not sign it. President Trump's legal team will continue to aggressively pursue litigation. Furthermore, the reporter who wrote this hatchet job reached out for comment at the exact same minute he published his story, giving us no time to respond. This is fake news to perpetuate the Democrat Epstein hoax. The Democrat Epstein hoax? You just heard survivors speak outside the Capitol. Carolyn, how is this false? What about it is false? And of course, that's clearly Donald Trump's signature. But if you want something even clearer than that, how about him standing next to Epstein in this disgusting new element of the story? Also in the new Wall Street Journal story today,
The Pascal letter included a photo of a poster board-sized check for $22,500, which has been mocked up to appear that it was sent from Trump to Epstein. Beneath it, a handwritten caption said, "Jeffrey showing early talents with money plus women sells fully depreciated, redacted, to Donald Trump for $22,500. The woman's name is redacted in the image." You can see the image here of the check being given to Jeffrey Epstein from Donald Trump with the mention of selling a woman. They are joking about Donald Trump having purchased a fully depreciated
And that's not something to
woman
joke about.
from Jeffrey Epstein.
People are not for
Now,
sale.
what does that mean? There
They're
are
not.
so many things that we could take away from that. Is that saying the girl is now too old for Epstein, too used up to invoke their disgusting language? This is foul that they were making jokes, but it proves it all, which is why Donald Trump tried to respond with his own distraction. After this story broke, he took to Truth Social to post this.
He can't
Trump
fix
wrote on
this.
Truth Social, "I have seen the horrific video of a beautiful young Ukrainian refugee who came to America to escape the vicious war in Ukraine and was innocently riding the metro in Charlotte, where she was brutally ambushed."
MAGA and
The
Donald Trump are
perpetrator
some
was a
terrible
well-known
people.
career criminal who has been previously arrested and released in January a total of 14 times. What the hell was he doing riding the train and walking the streets? Criminals like this need to be locked up. The blood of this innocent woman is on the hands of Democrats who refuse to put bad
See,
people
Donnie
in
will throw
jail,
something out there to
including
try to
former
change up
disgraced
what's
governor
out
and
there
wannabe
already.
Senator
He
Roy
wants us to
Cooper.
stop talking
North
about
Carolina
Epstein, so
and
he's
every
bringing up
state needs
somebody
law and order,
that has
and only
nothing to do with the
Republicans will
Epstein
deliver
case.
it. Additionally, where is the outrage from the mainstream media on this horrible tragedy? So in an effort to distract
Distractions.
from his Epstein scandal, Donald Trump is trying to turn what is a tragedy into a political pawn for himself, as he has done with Epstein, only for it, of course, to blow up in his face, as it has with Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump doesn't care about keeping people safe. Donald Trump doesn't care about anything but Donald Trump. And that's been proven out time and time again. This Epstein letter is a disgrace. That check is abominable. I don't know
That's
how anyone
proof that
can
he
see
was out
any
there
of this
tricking
and
and
think
pimping.
anything other than that Donald Trump, now more than ever, has always been completely unqualified, not for the presidency, but to exist in public life. This is a criminal. This is a disgusting human being. And if you are willing to bend the knee to this guy, it means you're not only a coward and
Yep.
pathetic, it means that you are at the same level of disgust that he is. And you should think about that, Republicans, before you give it all away to Donald Trump even more. And that is
Whoop,
exactly
there
what
it
we heard
is.
called out by our friends at MSNBC, specifically Tim Miller, responding to this story.
Yeah, well, I think it's their instinct to lie, for starters. Was when they're presented with inconvenient information, it's easier for them to talk about the fake news and blame the fake news than actually engage on the merits. On this one in particular, it is true.
Hit
that
the
it's not
like
known that
button,
Donald Trump
please.
was
Thank
bought,
you.
But there is this mythos that Will could talk about for sure on some on the MAGA right and the QAnon right, that Trump was like fighting against, the elite pedophile rings out there, and that he was, some warrior on the inside who was going to expose all these people. And now here he is, not only not exposing them all, but writing this note to Epstein here that is just extremely familiar, right? Like it's one thing. It is true that famous people sometimes sign birthday cards for people or sign generic notes for people. That is not what we're seeing here. I mean, we have this drawing of what appears to be a young woman, I would say, and Donald Trump talking about how they share certain things in common, about how they have all these wonderful secrets together. I mean, it's a letter from two guys that get in trouble together and have a bromance. That's what this is. It's not some generic letter. And so I think that's why they probably are more sensitive about it, because it's not as if it's just two famous people getting their picture together at another famous person's party.
Yeah,
it's
I
more
hear
intimate
you on that. But I don't think would it be surprising that Donald Trump wrote something like this to one of his friends? No, even if that friend did turn out to be a creep, I'm not sure it would be surprising. I don't know if that inherently means that Donald Trump himself is also engaging in the same behavior. He was interacting with lots of people. I think making that jump is is easier to do if the person is being cagey about it and strange and not admitting to just some obvious things. When you're not saying, yeah, I wrote this, I did do this picture. No, it's not me.
But Donald Trump said he didn't do it.
My signature when it looks exactly like your signature. That starts to raise more questions. But I want to linger on what Tim said a moment ago about the right canonizing Donald Trump as the figure who was going to expose all of this. Speaker Mike Johnson had this very weird moment on Friday where he suggested that Donald Trump was actually an FBI informant against Jeffrey Epstein. He was the one that tipped off the FBI back in the early 2000s. He walked that back and cleaned it up a bit in a statement today, but it just was out there for 3 or 4 days out there in the press. Where does that come from, this idea that Donald Trump was the one? By the way, we had Tom Winter on earlier today. He's reviewed the documents, and the initial tip came from, according to the government.
Donnie, you cooked.
Came from the family
cooked,
members
baby.
of some of the
You're
girls
done.
who were victimized.
You are a rotten fried orange.
I don't know if that's for me or
Will, I'm sending that to you. I'm sorry, Will.
Oh, sure,
it was a big wind up.
Sure. So in this case, I mean, look, conspiracy theorists, QAnon believers, Trump supporters have had a problem for a long time, which is how do you square Donald Trump's friendship with this, convicted charged sex trafficker and pedophile, all these things, convicted pedophile. And what they came up with was, well, maybe Trump was kind of going in on the inside to
hit the like button. Who took that like back? Put that like back up there.
Who gave Epstein a sweetheart deal? Maybe he put him in the cabinet to draw attention to how awful this deal was.
Yes, he offered Epstein a position in his cabinet before he had him locked up.
Tried to close the Epstein case along with Pam Bondi. And so, again, it's bizarre to me that this has reached the point where the Speaker of the House.
But he told y'all he hadn't been friends with Epstein in 15 years. Trump lied.
He was working to take down Epstein. But really, I mean, they're grasping at straws because, as you said, Katie, the whole thing is really weird. The idea that Trump was friends with this notorious pedophile, and all of a sudden his administration is doing everything they can to stop this discussion about it.
Yeah, I guess if you're innocent, why do you
hit the like button, please? Thank you.
Claim that you're not involved in any way? Why is this not your signature? We've seen the images. We've seen them partying together. Donald Trump has given quotes to magazines about the kind of guy that Jeffrey Epstein was. It's all been out there.
This is truly a bombshell. I'm unsure how Trump comes back from this. I know the base will always be there for him, but even
they
if you
slow, they ride a
it
short
is hard
bus.
to look past this. And it will be especially difficult if we continue to put on the pressure, which we are going to be doing on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.
Please go to YouTube and subscribe to Jack. Hold on, I've closed it too quick. Subscribe to Jack Cockcherella. I can't pronounce his name. I've never heard that name before, but I like him. He's doing big things. He's one of the top dogs on YouTube. So we're going to look at what Gavin Newsom. When I tell you Trump has met his match when it comes to Gavin Newsom, the governor of New York, he wearing Trump out, and Trump don't even know what to do. And I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Trump do not know what to do.
I don't do drawings, but I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women, that I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women. I don't do drawings, but I'm
apparently
not a
you
drawing
do, Donnie
person.
boy.
I don't do drawings of women.
Donnie the compulsive
they say
liar.
there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women. I don't do
Government Newsom, you can't help but to love him because he's trolling Donnie like to get online and troll people, call people fat, ugly, say he gonna deport people that was born here, their parents was born here, the grandparents, etc., etc., etc. But soon as somebody put their foot across his little fat bussy neck, oh, Donnie boy gets mad, yeah. Donnie can't handle the heat. Well, get out the kitchen. Get out the kitchen, boy. The only he want is between that back end back there. So, the Democrats acquired Trump's birthday note to Epstein that he claimed didn't exist. The Oversight Dems had acquired the birthday note Trump wrote to Epstein that he claimed didn't exist, y'all. So I'm going to show you this again because it's going to be so much we're going to talk about this. So much. That's your signature, Dunny boy. Mm-hmm. You have never been faithful to any woman you've been married to. You have never been faithful. So you think we're going to believe you? No, we're not going to believe you, Dunny. You are a compulsive liar. That you are. So we're going to listen to Christina Talks, give her point of view on this. Christina Talks T. She's going to talk about the birthday letter, and she's going to have you laughing.
Well, well, well. You mean on this Monday I get to do another MAGA Are You Okay Today video? It makes me so very happy to say that that birthday letter was not a hoax in any kind of way. You remember the birthday letter that the Washington Street Journal did a report about, and it caused the orange guy to pout and shout? He claimed it was yet another hoax, that he had never sent a birthday letter to his best buddy. But apparently, dear, it was absolutely true, because that birthday letter is in the everywheres for you to view. Hell, he even made JD look like a fool. Yes, even jdvance with his toddler pants and his queer ass stance, the Maybelline queen who has future dictator dreams, took to the twatter streets and said it was obscene, that there is no such birthday letter. It's just another hoax. Every other day they say it's a hoax, and every other day we prove it's true. How many more of these truths do you need, MAGA, before you are to believe that not only were they best friends, baby, but together they did what they did to Katie Johnson at the age of 13? Either way, are you okay today, MAGA?
No, MAGA ain't okay. Alan, he says, Queen Lillie, can you make Tia a mod again? I didn't remove her as a mod. Where's Tia? Hold on. I never removed Tia. Tia, where you at, girlfriend? Tia been a mod. I don't see her in the chat, Alan. She's in the chat. Tia, type something in here, Queen, if you're in the chat. Tia, you was a mod. What happened? Oh, hold on, baby. Hold on. Okay, did it work, Tia? Let me know if it worked. Okay, it worked. Hold on, baby. Let me see if I can make okay, it worked. Okay, cool. It worked. What happened? You got a new page, Tia? I apologize, y'all. That's one of my moderators. So you got a whole new profile and everything. Okay. So we're gonna get back to the goods. Say hello to my moderator, Queen Tia. So right now we're gonna listen to something. This comes from Aaron Partners. Please subscribe to him on YouTube. He's such an amazing content creator. He's gonna talk about the White House is lying to you. Trump's signature is on the letter.
We have some big news right now. The Donald Trump White House says that it's not his signature on the Epstein birthday letter. He's lying, and I can prove it. This is the birthday letter released by the House Oversight Committee earlier today. That's the signature on it. Trump says that's not his. Exhibit A, a letter written in February 28, 1995. Look at that signature. Exhibit B, a letter written to Rudy Giuliani. Exhibit C, a letter written to Larry King, July 15, 1999. Look at the signature. Exhibit D, a letter to Keith Olbermann, written in 2014. Look at that signature. And compare them all to this signature. They're the same. It's the exact same signature. Exact same signature. This needs to be spread everywhere. There's going to be so much misinformation on this platform about this. And right now, people need to know the truth. Comparing this signature to all the other ones that he wrote, it's probably his signature. So I need your help. Make sure to spread the word, spread it far and wide. Follow along for more, and subscribe to my Substack at the link in my bio to support my work. I'll have much more to come very soon. But ultimately, the White House won't get itself out of this one. We have some big news right now.
Subscribe to the great Aaron Partners. Go to his YouTube page. It's Aaron, AARON PARNAS. with the blue check. Go and follow him on Instagram.
Trump just got caught in federal court trying to protect the names of two people who were allegedly associated with Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes. That's right. According to NBC News, in some exclusive reporting, the DOJ on Friday asked a federal judge overseeing the case surrounding Epstein to deny a request from NBC News to unseal the names of two associates who received large payments from Epstein in 2018. First associate received a payment of $100,000. The second one received a payment of $250,000, both in 2018, days after the Miami Herald began publishing an investigative series into Epstein, which inevitably led to his arrest. Prosecutors referred to both of these individuals, whose names are redacted in these files, as potential co-conspirators. And one of these unidentified individuals who Donald Trump is protecting was alleged by the federal government to have helped Epstein commit his crimes by contacting victims and scheduling their encounters with him at his residences in Manhattan and Palm Beach, Florida. So these are people that the federal government has identified as potential co-conspirators and associates of Epstein, and Donald Trump right now is fighting to keep their names secret. They received payments from Epstein and Trump is protecting them. Talk about a cover-up. Donald Trump just got caught in federal court trying to protect the names of two people who were allegedly associated with Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes. That's right. According to NBC News, in some exclusive reporting, the DOJ on Friday asked a federal judge overseeing the case surrounding Epstein to deny a request from NBC News to unseal the names of two associates who received large payments from Epstein in 2018. First associate received a payment of $100,000. The second one received a payment of $250,000, both in 2018, days after the Miami Herald began publishing an investigative series into Epstein, which inevitably led to his arrest. Prosecutors referred to both of these individuals, whose names are redacted in these files, as potential co-conspirators. And one of these unidentified individuals who Donald Trump is protecting was alleged by the federal government to have helped Epstein commit his crimes by contacting victims and scheduling their encounters with him at his residences in Manhattan and Palm Beach, Florida. So these are people that the federal government has identified as potential co-conspirators and associates of Epstein, and Donald Trump right now is fighting to keep their names secret. They received payments from Epstein and Trump is protecting them. Talk about a cover-up. Donald Trump just got caught in federal court.
I believe all of this because Donald Trump had sent Epstein over $1 billion in transfers. He didn't do it from American banks. He did it from Russian banks. Why? He didn't want it to be traceable. But what the gig is up, baby, because it got out, Donnie. The proof is in the pudding, not in your poop that you letting in your pants every day in that catheter. No, not that kind of pudding. Even though you like mud, you want somebody to stick you in your mud, Donnie? That ain't what we're talking about. We ain't talking about the Bill Cosby Jell-O pudding pops neither, honey. But honey, Donnie, you sent Epstein wires from Russian accounts. Why? Then a check is discovered. Paying for girls. Is that true, Donnie? Inquirer minds want to know, baby.
The drawing that was a section of the Wall Street Journal report. I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person.
He lies.
I don't
Oh my
do drawings. Sometimes people say, "Well, you drew a building and I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, for a charity stuff." But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women. That I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women.
At this point, Donnie, you better start blaming your, because your daddy had frontal dementia. So, Donnie, it's time for you to start blaming things on your dementia, honey. But the thing is, you're not going to be able to use that because you claim you're the healthiest man in the world. Which one is it, Donnie? You better start blaming something and stop blaming President Barack Obama and President Joe Biden because they have nothing to do with you. They're not on the Epstein list, boy.
Journal has the receipts on Donald Trump and this whole Epstein saga. Remember, he sued the Wall Street Journal, Dow Jones, Rupert Murdoch, saying he never signed a birthday book for Jeffrey Epstein. He didn't draw a picture. Well, Donald Trump, right there, looks like a signature, and he signed it where he likes to grab women by
the.
So not only does the Wall Street Journal have the receipts, now the Oversight Committee in Congress has the receipts as well. Let's see how he tries to obfuscate and deflect and spin his way out of this one. He has Epstein derangement syndrome. We know that. But Epstein. Wall Street Journal has the receipts.
Epstein. So MAGA, you and Donnie, how you gonna spin a web on this one, baby? Because that's his signature. It's been verified. It is his signature. So what do you have to say? Tell us. Tell me something good. Tell me that you love me, baby.
Do drawings. I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings. This is a Democrat hoax that never.
Everything is a Democrat hoax.
Treated very unfairly by the Wall Street Journal and everything. I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women. That I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women. Who would do a controversial drawing? I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person.
Donnie, you say you don't do drawings, but most of that, I didn't turn the air conditioner on. My hair is soaking wet in the back. But most of the time when you get on your, on TV and you're doing your conferences or you doing your speech or whatever, you having meetings in the Oval Office, you say you're drawing a web. You remember that? You say you take your hands and you're drawing a web. When you talk, you're drawing a web. You do drawings every day, Donnie. Make up your mind, little boy blue, come blow your horn to the sheep and the cattle and the meadows and the corn. Stop lying. Y'all got to turn that heat on because y'all know I'm 52 years old and I'm in menopause. I'll be right back. Woo, y'all, when I tell you my hair is soaking wet in the back, because my hair is much longer in the back than it is in the front. Oh, my God. Fix it, Jesus. Y'all pray for me. When women get in menopause, it's something else. Woo, pray for me. Go ahead and say a little prayer for me right quick. Menopause is not any woman's friend. It doesn't like us. It mistreats us. You men are very lucky. All you beautiful kings are so lucky. So lucky. So extremely lucky. Yeah. Y'all are so lucky, men. Whatever. Okay, let's get back to the goods. Who we talking about? Donald Trump and this beloved letter that he wrote to his boy, Jeffrey Epstein. What man write a man a note anyway, y'all? Come on now. Have y'all ever heard of that? I've never heard of that before. Have any of you ever heard of that before? Tell me something good. Oh, mama hot, baby. Whew. All right. Let's get back to the goods because we're going to listen to more of Donnie lies. And MAGA love when they pappy tell them lies. They want to get down in his pissity pins and dance around with their tongue, honey. I heard you want to toss Donnie's salad, MAGA. Ew.
Being on the list means anything, but isn't there a list of people that definitely did?
Let me say this: the Epstein's
Roger Stone and Trump, some ugly people.
It's always the butler that did it. Epstein's butler, a guy named Albert Rodriguez, cancer, sold Epstein's private telephone book. Well, not everybody in his phone book is guilty of any wrongdoing. Right. Gardner's in the phone book, But the butler went through the book and he circled the names.
Thank you, Queen Tia.
That he said were either involved or in some cases
we saw that already.
Witness, meaning they weren't directly involved, but they were a material witness to it. So in essence, there is a list.
I don't know being on the list means anything, but isn't there a list of people that
if you're on Epstein list, let me tell you something. You ain't on there for buying Girl Scout cookies. No. Donnie would be on that list because he's been a bad bad boy. He's a bad boy for life. Him and Diddy was down like 2 flat tires. Yeah. See, Donnie don't know how to behave. He got to put his hand on the P-U-S-S-Y. He grabbed him by the what? The P-U-S-S-Y. And what was that he drew at the bottom? Right where he signed his name? P-U-S-S-Y, MAGA. Your leader is a sick individual. But he can't blame it on frontal dementia because his father had, and it's been said and done. He just may have it now. But he did all those things back when he was supposed to be young. Forever young, he won't be.
Congressman Robert Garcia, as you may have heard, Oversight Democrats just got a hold of the Jeffrey Epstein birthday book and note that, of course, was sent by Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein. This note, Donald Trump has said, does not exist. Well, once again, he is lying to the American public and is leading a White House cover-up. Now, I'm going to show you the note that we've now acquired. It's a little crude, so I do apologize if you don't want to see it. But this is the actual note. You see the president's signature there. You can read some of the words that he is sharing with his friend, Jeffrey Epstein. Mr. President, this is not a hoax. You are lying to the American public. You are involved in a cover-up. Now, the Oversight Committee is going to be reviewing documents we received today. We will not stop until we get justice for the victims of Jeffrey.
We're not going to stop. Let me see. Tia, do you have 2 accounts in here or you just got 1 in here? So, Tia, are these numbers they can contact? What are these numbers about? These are contact numbers, Queen. One moment, everybody. Oh, thank you, Tia. Thank you, beautiful. Okay, let's get back to the goods. That was Queen Tia. Go look and read what Queen Tia is saying. Check out what she's saying, everybody. So we're going to look at this photo of this note that Donnie wrote to Epstein for his birthday, which I'm telling you, I never heard of a man writing other men notes. No. And if you see what Donnie's signature is, it is where the vajayjay is. Because remember, Donnie said he can just go up to a woman and grab her by the P-U-S-S-Y. So I can't play music. Hold on. Look carefully where that signature is. What is that down there? That's where a woman's candy land is, you know? So don't tell me y'all don't believe Donnie has done any of these things, because nothing that Donnie does is fake. It's real. He did it. So these are some comparison of Donnie's signature right here. He's not getting out of it. One of them is a letter to Epstein, and one of them is a letter to Conway. I think that lady used to work for him, and Clinton. So look at the signatures. It's Donnie's signature. He can stop lying. He's not fooling anyone but himself and that pissy pins that he wear. Look at the signature. That's the letter to Epstein, letter to Conway. She used to work for him, if that's who I think it is. And a letter to Hillary Clinton, because he used to endorse Hillary Clinton before he made Hillary his enemy. So it says a letter sent in November 2000 to Hillary Clinton, congratulating her on her election to the U.S. Senate. This is an exclusive, a visual breakdown of Trump's birthday letter to Epstein. The Wall Street Journal took the letter from Donald to Hillary that I owned and overlaid the signature with the Donald's letter to Jeffrey Epstein. Donnie is the gift that keep on giving, because he helping me pay some bills right now. So this is, they talking about the letter again. I'm going to show you the letter. Where did he put his signature? Where he grabbed him by the P-U-S-S-Y. That's what Donnie put the signature. Where he grabs a woman by her P-U-S-S-Y. What did Donnie say? I grab him by the ussy. So it says, here is We got Trump's birthday note to Jeffrey Epstein that the president said doesn't exist. He lied. Trump talks about a wonderful secret the two of them shared. What is he hiding? Oversight DMs and Robert Reparo Garcia say release the files. America says release the files. We ready. So, you know, our good old House Speaker, Magic Mike Johnson, you know, he had to backpedal and pussy pop. So Mike Johnson now says he made a mistake when claimed Trump was an FBI informant for Epstein. We knew this years ago, really. Why? Because to be an informant, you have to witness illegal actions, meaning he just admitted that Trump was at the parties. Let me read that to you again, everybody. Okay, Speaker Mike Johnson says he made a mistake when claiming Trump was an FBI informant for Epstein. Why? Because to be an informant, you have to witness illegal actions. Meaning he was just admitting that Trump was at the parties with the little children and Epstein, y'all. Ooh, Mike Johnson just got caught fabricating a claim that Trump was an FBI informant in the Epstein case. Then quietly walked it back like nothing happened. These people lie like they breathe. So let's cut off the air circulation. Get them out of our Oval Office. Again, these people lie like they breathe. So let's cut off the oxygen. Get them out the office. Vote them out. They got to go. So Trump's cabinet is so ghetto. Trailer park trash, etc. Uh-oh, it's on mute. I just do y'all any kind of weight on. I think she's so pretty, Christina.
It's Monday, baby. There's all kind of tea in the brew. Let's talk about the Secretary of Treasury, shall we? Yes, Mr. Scotty Bessent. You remember that guy, the one that gave Alonia Muskrat a black eye? Yes, baby. We covered this extensively. You see, back in the day when Alonia Muskrat was allowed to, well, play, him and Scotty Bessent...
Hit the like button. I'm not to my 100 yet.
It resulted in Alonia Muskrat being asked to step away from the side of Daddy and never to come back to the White House to play. He had to leave with a black eye that day, thanks to that guy, Scotty Bessent. Yes, baby. Well, he's at it again, you see, wanting to throw blows with another person who's close to Daddy for the things that he had to say to Daddy. Get this, the other night they had themselves a private dinner party, and everybody was there. Honey, the table was long, 30 seats, in fact, donned with fine china and crystal, too. And then cocktail hour, they say, while they were drinking a few, Scotty Bessent became unglued and directed his anger at this dude, Bill Puth. Or shall we just call him Bill Puke today because he is a MAGA influencer, they say. And he's also been given a job that puts him close to Daddy in the economic sphere. Just like Scotty did. And from what they say, he got in Daddy's ear and he said some out-of-the-way things about Scotty the other day.
Hit the like button,
Scotty
people.
Had a few cocktails in him. Baby, the fight began. Yes, indeed. I know that didn't rhyme, but we ain't got a rhyme here, baby. No, we don't, because this tea today is so very good in so many ways. He stood up and he got in Bill's face. He said, "Why are you saying things about me to the president, dear? You need to keep my fucking name out of your fucking mouth." Yes, he did. And somebody had to break them up.
Hello, King, DJ David. How you doing? Thank you.
Scotty was ready to throw blows. And people are like, do we need to ask somebody to go? And Scotty said, it's either me or him. Somebody's got to go expeditiously. And if you want to take this outside, I will beat your fucking face in. Ooh, baby, from throwing F-bombs all over the place to JD over there on the Twitter street saying he don't give a shit about war crimes, baby. They're coming unglued. They're coming unhinged. Every last one of them that are close to the orange dude.
The Trump regime is falling.
Shit is about to fucking erupt. But either way, what is up with Scotty today, being as he is gay? And considering the fact that a whole lot in the red crew and in that regime can't stand a gay dude because they think they're all sissy and not macho enough. It appears to me, dear, that the only one up there with that machismo just so happens to be The gay hoe. Anyway, that's all I got to say about this cup of tea today. Somebody get Scotty a Zanny right away, please, before he fucking shows his ass some more. Or let him show his ass. I don't even care. I hope he beats every one of them in the face.
So, Donnie, the gay one is more masculine than any of you. He actually punched Elon. But the rest of them are beta. What is going on here? Is it an earthquake going on up there at the White House or what? Because Donnie's different beta. Donnie ain't an alpha. He whine too much. Every day is like a 2-year-old having a temper tantrum. We just tired. So this is a conversation about Epstein and Trump from Wolf.
I think we have a snippet from one of the conversations that I recorded with Epstein, and I think this was in a restaurant in 2017.
His people fight each other,
Right.
and then
hit the like button.
He sort of
hit the button.
Well, outside, he will tell 10 people Bannon's a scumbag, and Priest is not doing a good job.
Epstein talking about Trump.
What do you think? Jamie Dimon says that you're a problem, and I shouldn't keep you. And I spoke to Carl Icahn, and Carl thinks I need a new spokesperson. So Kelly, even though I hired Kellyanne's husband, Kellyanne's just too much of a wild one. And then he tells Bannon, I really want to keep you, but Kellyanne hates you.
I have more than dozens. I probably have 100 hours.
That was Epstein talking about Trump, how he talked about his cabinet members.
Workings of the Trump White House and about his long-standing, deep relationship with Donald Trump. I think we have a snippet from one of the conversations that I recorded with Epstein, and I think this was in a restaurant in 2017.
His people fight each other.
Right.
And then have outsiders. He sort of poisons the well outside. He will tell 10 people Bannon's a scumbag, and Priest is not doing a good job, and Kelly has a big mouth. What do you think? Jamie Dimon says that you're a problem, and I shouldn't keep you. And I spoke to Carl Icahn, and Carl thinks I need a new spokesperson. So Kelly, even though I hired Kellyanne's husband, Kellyanne's just too much of a wild one. And then he tells Bannon, I really want to keep you, but Kellyanne hates you.
I have more than dozens. I probably have 100 hours of Epstein talking about the inner workings of the Trump White House and about his long-standing, deep relationship with Donald Trump. I think we have a snippet from one of the conversations that I recorded with Epstein, and I think this was in a restaurant in 2017.
His people fight each other.
Right.
And then have outsiders. He sort of poisons the well outside. He will tell 10 people Bannon's a scumbag, and Priest is not doing a good job, and Kelly has a big mouth. What do you think? Jamie Dimon says that you're a problem.
So Donnie, he would tell Epstein about his cabinet. But remember, Donnie said he was no longer friends with Epstein, that he hadn't been friends with Epstein in 15 years. But it has been said as well that he even offered Epstein a position in his cabinet, his first term. And Epstein was just speaking on Donnie, how he talks about his cabinet, the things that Epstein wouldn't know unless Donnie Boy told him.
It's time to speak up. So I heard that Peter Thiel is about to do a 4-part series on teachings of the Antichrist. Since I don't exactly trust Mr. Thiel to tell the truth,
that's who pulling Donnie's strings, Peter Thiel.
Since Thiel says he's going to be teaching from the Bible, let's look at what Scripture actually says, shall we? Instead of 4 episodes, I'm going to run it down for you in just 4 points and save you a lot of time. Number 1, the Antichrist will be known by arrogance and domination. Paul says that the man of
Donnie.
lawlessness will exalt himself above others and oppose God. That's in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4, if you want to check. So the Antichrist is marked by arrogance and a desire to dominate. Does that sound familiar to anyone? Number 2, the Antichrist will be known by deception and lies. Jesus warned that false Christs and false prophets will deceive many with signs and with smooth words. That's in Matthew chapter 24, verse 24, if you want to check. And John said that the Antichrist denies the truth and spreads lies. That's in 1 John chapter 2, verse 22. Number 3, he will be known by, wait for it, economic and political control. That's right. Revelation speaks of a beast who forces all people, great and small, poor and rich, to submit economically, or they won't be able to buy and sell unless they have his mark. That's in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 and 17. That doesn't remind me of anyone at all. And point number 4, the Antichrist will show violence against the vulnerable. Daniel's vision describes the Antichrist as waging war against God's people and oppressing the holy ones of the Most High. That's in Daniel chapter 7, verses 21 and 25. They will be known for exploiting, crushing, and silencing the vulnerable. It's not a side effect, it's the point. So, here's what we need to be looking for. Someone who embodies arrogance that demands loyalty, spreads lies that deceives multitudes, creates systems of economic and political domination, and oppresses the weak and the vulnerable. You see, the Antichrist, it isn't just a future prophecy. It's about recognizing patterns of power in our own day. When you see leaders who hoard wealth and power, who spread lies, and who demand obedience, and who will trample all over the vulnerable, Scripture tells us that's the spirit of an Antichrist at work. If you want to spot an Antichrist, don't look for horns. Look for those who hoard power, spread lies, and oppress the weak. So save your breath, Mr. Teal. We the people, we know an Antichrist when we see one. Go love your neighbor. It's time to speak.
That plantation on Pennsylvania Avenue. Yeah, the White House, the biggest plantation ever. The Antichrist lives there. He sits behind the resin desk, giving orders, telling lies. Donald John Trump.
We have some big news right now. Trump just suffered a big loss in court as an appellate court in the Second Circuit rejected Trump's appeal of an $83 million defamation verdict for E. Jean Carroll. Trump had argued in front of this appellate court that presidential immunity essentially bars him from paying this $83 million payment to E. Jean Carroll for defamation, for defaming her. And the federal appellate court said, no, that doesn't work. You do not have presidential immunity over this. And as a result, his $83 million judgment stands. It's actually $83.3 million. This comes just months after the same appellate court upheld a separate, smaller $5 million judgment that E. Jean Carroll secured against Trump. So in total, Trump owes her nearly $90 million, and he will continue to owe her $90 million after this ruling today, which is not good for him. Spread the word. I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack, linked in bio. Subscribe for free. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
Subscribe to the great Aaron Partners. One of the best to ever done it. Have done it, rather. He's great at what he does. Yes, he is.
We have breaking news right now. We have the note sent by Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday. House Oversight Democrats have just released the note to the public. I need you to see this right now. Stunning, stunning news right now. This is the note written by Donald Trump to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday. As you can see, it depicts a nude woman. This is the outline of the woman. It says, "There must be more to life than everything, Donald. Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is, nor will I, since I also know what it is. We have certain things in common, Jeffrey." Keep reading. This is the entire note. And then Donald Trump signs his name
at
right
the vagina,
at the bottom, near the genitalia of this outline of this woman. This was released moments ago by House Democrats who have obtained this note from the Epstein files. This is a significant development, confirms the Wall Street Journal's reporting, and shows a more close connection between Epstein and Trump than ever before. Spread the word so more people know.
Donnie is such a horrible man. He's living up to grab him by the PUSSY, isn't he? He's living up to it so much he put his name between the woman's legs, just like he put his hand.
I need you to see this right now. Stunning, stunning.
Probably even his head.
We have some big news coming out of the Trump administration where Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary threatened to punch another Trump administration official.
Hit that like button.
According
Thank
to Politico,
you.
there was an evening birthday celebration for a MAGA influencer this week. Scott Bessent was there, and so was Bill Pulte, who is the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency. And while according to Politico, Bessent came up to Pulte and started screaming at him. "Why the fuck are you talking to the president about me? Fuck
Thank you.
I'm gonna punch you in your fucking face." Those were direct quotes from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to Pulte in the middle of this MAGA influencer dinner with other cabinet officials, including Tulsi Gabbard, Brooke Rollins, Howard Lutnick, Doug Burgum, Dr. Oz, and more. When they tried to split them up, Bessent said to the person trying to split them up, "You tell me who's getting the F out of here, or we could go outside." Pulte said, "To do what? To talk?" Bessent replied, quote, "I'm gonna beat your effing ass." Yes, that's a real interaction. They're literally fighting. Spread the word and follow along for all the news you need to know about.
Subscribe to Aaron Parnas. Follow him on Instagram too. Donnie's cabinet is so ghetto. So ghetto. President Barack Obama, his cabinet, you never heard about them fighting. No one punched anyone in the face. Even with President Joe Biden, no one was punching each other in the face. Lord have mercy. The ghetto.
Heard today is a cover-up by the Republicans in this chamber.
And we do not care how powerful, how connected, or what political party those that have victimized and caused horrific pain and sexual abuse of these women are. We will seek justice.
It's the Democratic leadership on oversight that has truly been able to move this
That
forward.
Jasmine is so
Jeffrey
pretty.
Epstein is dead, but his hurt and his
She's
harm
beautiful.
is alive and well. Whether we're talking about the banks that were involved, whether we're talking about those that worked for him, that helped him, whether we're talking about the monster known as Maxwell, and that's exactly how y'all need to refer to her. This is a matter of life and death. Because Virginia Jeffrey took her life. After decades of failure, we will work to ensure that every individual, every adult that had anything to do with their trafficking, their rape, that they are held to account. Because our reason for being here is to make sure that whether it is the government of the United States, princes or elected officials from other countries, or wealthy billionaires, that no one should be above the law.
Because as you will find out in the coming days and weeks, this goes all the way to the top. So let's be clear about that. What we heard today.
This goes all the way up to the top. And what they mean by that is Donald J. Trump. And it could even mean Peter Thiel over the Heritage Foundation. The one that gave JD his start. What did you have to do, JD? Remember the blonde wig you wore? And the lipstick you wore? And the short skirt you wore, honey? JD. He be getting some head. Giving some head. JD be giving some head. Did you put on knee pads, JD Vance? You be giving some head. Giving some head. Did you deep throat, JD Vance? Inquiry minds want to know. You know what I learned about that cabinet? They love grinder out. And they love knee pads. They love smelling of pissy depends. Who all did you get on your knees for with the knee pads, honey? You be getting to head, giving some head. They don't be earning them positions, honey. They be putting in work. They either gonna give up the back end or the front end. Trump's new pathetic portraits in the White House. Hold on, wait a minute.
So it appears that Dumpy's narcissism has reached a new low in his sad, desperate attempt to pretend that he's not the worst and most hated president in
Hit the
history.
like button.
He's added multiple new paintings on the walls of the White House and moved paintings of people he doesn't like. All because he is a petulant, narcissistic child. For example, he removed Hillary Clinton's portrait out of the hall where first ladies are put and put a picture of
Hold
himself
on, let me
with
start this over because something ain't doing right about it. It's frozen. How is that thing frozen? Hold on.
So it appears that Dumpy's narcissism has reached a new low in his sad, desperate attempt to pretend that he's not the worst and most hated president in history. He's added multiple new paintings on the walls of the White House and moved paintings of people he doesn't like. All because he is a petulant, narcissistic child. For example, he removed Hillary Clinton's portrait out of the hall where first ladies are put and put a picture of himself with fucking stupid American flag stripes on his face. You know, the uber patriot who tried to overthrow his own government. Stuck in his ugly, sagging face in a hall full of first ladies. He removed a picture of Obama in the Grand Foyer and put up a picture of himself after his assassination attempt. But perhaps the most ridiculous and perplexing one, and yes, I have verified this, is he put up a stupid portrait of himself with American flags and flames in the background. First, it's hilarious because it shows him walking tall and strong like the Punisher instead of shambling like he normally does.
And we all know who Donny Boy leans over. He does not walk strong and tall like an alpha male. No, Donny Boy is a hunchback. He's a tall hunchback. Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's Donny. And he smells. He's not pleasant. No one wants to see you on a portrait, Donny. You're not a Tom Brady. You're not a nothing. You're nothing, Donny. You're just nothing. Nothing about you has ever been attractive. No one wants a picture of you. So Jasmine Crockett unseals Trump's 1970 IQ from Wharton aptitude test. We all know Donny is not smart. But let me show you this, okay? One moment, please.
For years, Donald Trump has called himself a genius. He's bragged about having one of the highest IQs, insisted that he was smarter than generals, professors, and even scientists. He once famously declared himself a very stable genius, a phrase that has followed him ever since. But just when Trump thought he could use intelligence as a weapon to insult others, that very claim has come back to haunt him. Because this week, Representative Jasmine Crockett didn't just clap back, she pulled out the receipts. And those receipts, ladies and gentlemen, were Trump's own Wharton School aptitude scores from 1970. Scores that reveal a very different picture than the one Trump has spent decades painting. It all started, as it so often does, with Trump's mockery. At a recent rally, Trump decided to go after Jasmine Crockett, the sharp-tongued Democratic congresswoman from Texas who has gained a reputation for standing her ground. Trump sneered at her intelligence, calling her low IQ, and suggesting she was unqualified to even sit in Congress. The crowd laughed, the cameras rolled, and Trump smirked with that familiar look of smugness he wears when he thinks he's landed a blow. But what Trump didn't realize in that moment was that Crockett wasn't about to let that insult slide. Within days, Crockett stunned both her allies and her critics. Standing in front of reporters, she held up a stack of documents that had never before been made public. These were Trump's own Wharton School aptitude scores from 1970, records that many believed had been buried or sealed away forever. Crockett didn't just wave the papers around for effect, she read them aloud. And when she did, the myth of Trump's genius began to crumble. According to the documents, Trump's scores were shockingly mediocre. On verbal reasoning, he scored a 92, below the Ivy League average.
Please.
On math, he scored an 87, again below the standard for admission. His overall percentile ranked in the 38th percentile of test takers nationwide. To put that in perspective, Trump had scored lower than more than half of his peers. This wasn't the profile of a prodigy or a mastermind. This was the profile of an average student, one who likely would have struggled to gain admission without connections. And that's where the story gets even more damning. Crockett pointed out that Trump didn't just get into Wharton on merit. His father, Fred Trump, was a wealthy real estate mogul with deep ties to the university. In
Hit
other
the
words,
like button,
while
please.
Trump has
Thank
spent
you.
decades mocking others as stupid or dumb, the evidence suggests that he himself may have relied on privilege, not brilliance, to secure his education. Jasmine's words cut sharp. This man has called me low IQ, but the truth is his own test scores prove otherwise. He's not a genius. He's a fraud hiding behind a myth. The political fallout was immediate. News outlets scrambled to cover the revelation. On cable news panels, experts debated the authenticity of the documents, but legal analysts confirmed they bore official Wharton markings. Social media exploded with ridicule. Hashtags like stable genius and Wharton fraud began trending within hours. Memes circulated of Trump's test scores juxtaposed with his infamous very stable genius tweet. Even late-night hosts jumped in, delivering punchlines about the failed genius of Queens. Trump, of course, did not stay silent. In a furious Truth Social post, he dismissed the documents as fake and called Crockett a liar who hates America. He insisted that his IQ was through the roof and that he had always been at the top of his class. But here's the problem. Wharton's records have long shown that Trump was not, in fact, at the top of his class. He never made the dean's list, never graduated with honors, and was rarely cited
lied
as a
about all of
standout
that.
student. Crockett's unsealing of these aptitude scores only added fuel to an already burning fire of doubt. Political analysts were quick to point out the irony. Trump had spent years mocking President Obama, demanding to see his transcripts, and claiming he couldn't have gotten into Columbia or Harvard on his own merits. Yet here was Trump, exposed by his own past, showing
So
that he
jealous.
himself had underwhelming scores, privileged access, and no academic accolades to boast about. Jasmine Crockett's move wasn't just a counterpunch, it was a knockout blow that exposed the hypocrisy at the heart of Trump's genius narrative. The deeper meaning of this moment goes far beyond numbers on a test. It highlights the dangers of building a political identity on arrogance and insult. When Trump mocked Crockett's IQ, he assumed she'd take the insult and move on. Instead, she turned it into a spotlight, not just on herself, but on the truth about Trump. And in doing so, she shifted the narrative. Suddenly, Trump wasn't the one questioning someone else's intelligence. He was the one being laughed at, scrutinized, and exposed. And let's be clear, this wasn't just about a 50-year-old test score. This was about credibility, honesty, and trust. If Trump is willing to lie about being a genius, what else is he willing to lie about? If he
Everything.
inflated his academic abilities for decades, what does that say about his business record, his political promises, or his presidential legacy? Jasmine Crockett's revelation may seem like a petty spat about IQ, but it strikes at the very core of Trump's image, the image of a man who always claimed to be the smartest in the room. And as the dust settles, one thing is clear. Crockett has emerged as a rising force in Democratic politics. Her boldness in taking on Trump head-to-head has earned her national attention. Supporters see her as fearless, someone unafraid to challenge Trump's bluster with hard facts. And Trump, for once, finds himself on the defensive, struggling to explain why the genius narrative doesn't match the reality of his own records. In the end, the story of Trump's IQ war with Jasmine Crockett isn't just about who's smarter, it's about who has the courage to tell the truth. And when the truth came out, it wasn't Trump's voice echoing with strength, it was Jasmine Crockett's. So perhaps the final irony here is that the man who called himself a stable genius may go down in history remembered not for his brilliance, but for being exposed by the very woman he mocked. And in politics, sometimes that's all it takes. One moment of arrogance, one insult too far, and one opponent willing to fight back with receipts. And that's the moment we just witnessed.
We all know Danny got low IQ. I showed you his grades. He's not smart, but he's smart enough to fool a dumb cult called MAGA. I guess it only works for them. That's how they get their rocks off. They wish they could sniff his pissy, funky depends. They want to be the turd in his diaper. MAGA does. You're disgusting. You disgust me. Okay, so it says nobody buying this crap. Mike Johnson humiliated after far-right influencer tortures his FBI informant claims of Trump. Let me take a sip of water and we're going to just move along. See, MAGA want to be the one that's the turd and Dunnies. Depends. But he said you ain't got enough money. Dunny only deal with people for the money. It's just like selling your box. You know what I mean? You ain't got enough money to get in his. Depends, baby. He don't like you, MAGA. He used you to get what he wants. You're a fool, MAGA.
Donald Trump's excuses over the Epstein files have gotten so ridiculous that even some of his most loyal far-right supporters are turning against him. Nick Fuentes, a far-right commentator who built his entire career around backing Trump and the MAGA movement, is now absolutely slamming Trump and Speaker Mike Johnson after his newest spin. And the reason why says a lot about how desperate Trump's gaslighting has become. So stick around to see what Nick Fuentes had to say, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. Now, the excuses around the Epstein files have shifted pretty drastically over time. At first, Trump ran on releasing the files, then he turned it into a supposed Democrat hoax, and now the latest twist is that Trump was secretly an FBI informant. And that so-called slip came straight from Mike Johnson, who was very clearly floating it on purpose. Just take a look at this.
He's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him. He and I have spoken about this as recently as 24 hours ago.
And that's where Nick Fuentes comes in. Remember, this is a guy who used to praise Trump as a world historical figure. He called himself a soldier in Trump's movement, but even he thinks this latest FBI informant excuse is insulting and absurd. He even said that nobody is going to believe it, and he tore into Trump for letting things get this far. Just take a look at him ripping into Trump.
Did you see the latest excuse that we're getting from Mike Johnson on the Epstein
Magic
files?
Mike.
As you know, we covered it last night. There's a major press conference this week outside the Capitol building. All the Epstein accusers are there, and they're trying to pressure Republicans to vote on this discharge petition to force the DOJ to give up the Epstein files. And it's a big spectacle, and Marjorie Greene is there, and Trump is calling it a Democrat hoax and all of it. And we've heard every line from the White House about the Epstein scandal. They've said, it's not real. There are no files. It's a Democrat hoax. They fabricated it. There was no client list. We've heard all these different things.
We heard it all.
Then today, like, what are they doing, guys? What are they doing? The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who is involved in the cover-up, he's preventing this vote from going to the floor. Mike Johnson speaks to the press and says that the reason that Trump is named repeatedly inside the Epstein files, get this, it's because the entire time Trump was an FBI informant. The reason that Trump had Jeffrey Epstein at Mar-a-Lago and hung out with him and sent him a birthday card, and the reason that Trump is named over and over and over again inside the Epstein files is because, well, he was working against Epstein. He was working with the cops. He was a double agent. He was undercover. He was working with the feds to sting Epstein. Okay? That's from the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Mike Johnson. I'm not making that up. That's not from a low-level spokesperson. That's the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And it's not like he misspoke. He just said that to the press. said, well, Donald Trump was cooperating with law enforcement. He was an informant. Are we expected to believe this now? This is the new line?
That's the new
So
line.
first they said Trump is not in the files. He did nothing wrong. Then they said, well, he is in the files, but there's nothing bad.
Kiffin said Trump is the rat dropping.
Planted something bad in there.
I like that, King.
Now they're saying he was actually heroic. He was a double agent. So just what is there even
This
to
is
say
sad. Donnie going out
about any
bad.
of it?
The man wears a diaper every day, too.
It's hard.
A girdle, hair
Because
pieces,
I'm trying to be fair.
2-inch
I try to
things in his
be
shoes and make them
reasonable.
taller.
I try to think, what would an objective person think? What would an objective, right-wing Trump supporter, how are they looking at this?
They still sniffing his depends.
What are we supposed to make of this? We're just being lied to. They're just insulting us. How can you take this? How can anybody take this? And I was mad about it yesterday. I was pissed. Because like I said yesterday, they for 5 years gassed up and gaslighted the base on Epstein disclosure. They said they would do it. They did the binder photo op. Now they're telling us we're traitors if we still want it. Then not even 24 hours later,
he mind F y'all. Donald Trump mind F y'all.
Files, but it's because he was an undercover cop. Who believes that? Do they expect us to believe that?
Ooh, that doggone Trump regime is a mess.
Do they think we're going to buy that? And who is that for? Are even the people on Truth Social buying that? It's like, well, what does Cat Turds take? Did he buy that? I'm just wondering what the audience is for any of this. So Trump was an FBI informant working to deliver Epstein to justice. Oh, okay. And how does that work? Who knows? So I just, it's hard to continue watching this. And I say this is the guy that's totally vindicated. I was talking to some buddies of mine today, and I said, the fatal conceit of the people that continue to support this movement is they say this line, they say, trust the plan. I'm a plan truster. I trusted the plan. Did you trust the plan? And the problem with this notion is that I don't think there is a plan.
The plan is to keep lying to the American people.
There is no plan here with any of it. There's no plan with the tariffs. There's no plan with Russia. There's no plan with immigration. There never has been. I don't know if there was ever a plan from the very beginning. What this plan is or was. I don't know that there is any sort of method. I don't think this administration is thinking even 2 or 3 steps ahead, let alone people are talking about 5-dimensional chess and all these incredibly complex psychological manipulations. I don't think they're thinking even a few weeks ahead. They're on a 2-week timeline always. So they say this, trust the plan. It's like, what was part of the plan here?
Yeah, what's the plan, Donald Trump?
To look for all the mentions of your name.
Keep lying.
Getting told your name in the files, then burying them, then hoping it would go away when it didn't, saying it was a Democrat hoax. When people didn't buy that, blaming your own supporters. Hoping it would go away after that when it didn't. Now say that you're a FBI informant that was helping to actually destroy Jeffrey Epstein. What was the plan there?
Seeing this kind of break is really quite remarkable. Fuentes has gone from one of Trump's biggest cheerleaders to one of Trump's biggest cheerleaders. Space. Now, don't get me wrong, Fuentes is still very dangerous and he's still spreading a lot of hate, but the fact that even he thinks that Trump's Epstein defense has now become a joke shows just how fragile Trump's grip on the narrative truly is. But what do you think? Is this the beginning of Trump losing his control over his own movement, or is MAGA going to close ranks and pretend that this never happened? Let me know what you think down in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more.
Ooh, that was interesting there, y'all. Yeah. Be sure to subscribe to Issue Addict. It's ISSUE Addict. So we know the names. Epstein survivor confirms a new client list.
That was a big day in the House Epstein investigation. The Oversight Committee will begin receiving documents from the Epstein estate, and this week, estate lawyers will also allow staffers to view unredacted versions. Epstein's 50th birthday book is among the items to be reviewed. President Trump, of course, sued the Wall Street Journal for $10 billion after denying a report he was among those who contributed to
Well,
the
we
book.
saw the letter, Donnie.
Also highly anticipated, Epstein's Black Book, as Trump supporters and survivors demand a full list of Epstein associates.
I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know.
Well, the woman who made that powerful announcement joins you right now, Lisa Phillips.
She's so
Epstein
pretty.
survivor, now host of the From Now On podcast. Lisa, welcome. Awfully glad to have your voice here on the broadcast and talk about that. Before we get to that list, you've been an advocate for survivors for a long time. But what was the experience like for you going to the Capitol for a chance to engage with lawmakers? Did you know what to expect ahead of time?
Actually, no, I did not know what to expect. Everything that happened afterwards was a complete surprise to me, but it's what I wanted, was to get the attention that survivors needed to make the change that's necessary.
You know, there was one Republican Congresswoman, Nancy Mays. She emerged from that room visibly shaken and crying. Take us inside. What was it like during that meeting?
Oh, it was absolutely surreal and empowering. It was the most important moment of my life. All of us survivors sat around the table with the Congresswoman and just shared stories. And a few of them told us about domestic violence or rape or things that happened to them in their past. And we just all passed around tissues and cried together. It was just a powerful moment.
And what was it you wanted to convey by doing that? Was it a sense of like, understand us, hear us, feel our pain, and do something?
Absolutely. It takes a lot of courage for victims of sexual abuse and trafficking on this level to come forward and stand there and, you know, sometimes shamefully tell your story. And we are coming into our power because we are coming together as a community.
They're survivors coming into their power.
Stories and connecting the dots and healing together. So through that, we've become quite a powerful group of women.
I'd say so, yeah. Were you surprised at all by any of the specific responses, any of the questions from any of the congressmen or women?
Well, I mean, there's a certain sense.
That's Lisa Phillips. She's one of Epstein's survivors. And they have a list. And Marjorie Taylor Greene says she would go on the Senate floor. Sorry. I'm getting a little sleepy, you know. I'm an old lady. She would go on the Senate floor and present those names. Let's see if Marjorie Taylor Greene really has the backbone that she's telling us she has. Because you know Daddy ain't going to be proud with her. The pissy depends. Donald Trump. He's very disappointed in his daughter. Yeah. The slave master don't like that. He don't even want the slaves to speak up. Nor does he want his daughter to speak up.
A minute. So farmers are suing Trump because they want their stimulus checks back.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. Y'all voted for this, remember? Elections have consequences, baby. So here's the tea. Joe Biden and Congress put grants together to give money to farmers. Trump gets in and what does he do? Cuts contracts, snatches the money,
Tell
and
him,
leaves the
Queen.
farmers high and dry. But now the same folks who cheered him on are like, we want our money. Now let's connect the dots real quick on something. For decades, farmers have been living on government handouts.
Yep.
Billions in subsidies to keep their farms afloat. While some of those same farmers turn around and point their fingers at families on food stamps. And they have the nerve to call them welfare queens. Nah, let's call it what it is. The biggest welfare queens in American society are wearing overalls, not wigs and heels. And here's the irony. Farmers love to preach about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, guess what, farmers? Take your own advice. If you can't sustain your farm without taxpayer bailouts, maybe farming ain't your ministry, boo. Because my tax dollars and your tax dollars shouldn't be propping up businesses that can't sustain on their own. So no, farmers shouldn't get a dime. Elections have consequences and farmers are finally feeling it. What do you think? So should we keep footing the bill for people who keep vilifying other people who depend on assistance? Or is it finally time that farmers actually live by their own rules? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I want to hear if y'all truly are done.
You know, Epstein is not Epstein. Elon is a welfare queen too. He has gotten millions and millions of dollars from our government. And blacks were told to pull up by their bootstraps to get to their level. And we did just that. We actually outsmarted the real welfare queens. Black women have the highest education in this country. We're not welfare queens. No. It's those rich, want to say they broke farmers crying. The true welfare queens. Elon Musk, welfare queen. All those rich people that get funded from the government, millions and billions of dollars of our taxpayer money. They are our true welfare queens. Let's take a drink to that, please. Cheers.
Arkansas overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump, but now his tariffs are crushing its farmers. Watch.
And it's so bad that many are facing bankruptcy or even the closure of farms that have been passed down for generations. A dismal global market and plunging commodity prices mean there's little to no hope of breaking even for many farmers, even as sky-high input costs rise because of inflation and now tariffs.
This time last year, the rice price was about 40% higher than it is now. The inputs costs have gone up. So after a horrible year last year, where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
Now, under Trump, farmers face over $1 billion in projected losses this season. Up to a third could go under because Trump's big, beautiful bill won't release farm aid until late next year. And that's way too late. But when Joe Biden was president, farmers had relief programs while the disasters were happening. There was no, hey, you're going to have to wait until late next year. And when Kamala Harris ran, she proposed giving small
She's
farmers
so pretty. I miss her.
Insurance, while cracking down on big agriculture and even pushing the right to repair law so that farmers could fix their own equipment. And look, I'm not under the illusion that one day Arkansas is suddenly going to vote blue. What I am saying is that the idea that Joe Biden or Kamala Harris didn't reach out to the working class or farmers is bullshit, because by any metric, Biden-Harris delivered more for farmers than Donald Trump did. Donald Trump ran on tariffs, and these farmers knew the consequences and still voted for him. And now, because of their steadfast commitment to allowing Donald Trump to help tank their business, they're now going to have to be bailed out with our blue state.
Hit the like button, please. Thank
Arkansas
you.
overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump, but now his tariffs are crushing its farmers. Watch.
See, but Donnie told y'all that the tariffs was good, America. He's doing you a favor, blessing you with the tariffs. Those beautiful tariffs. That big, beautiful bill. Anything he told you was beautiful, because he's not. It turned out to be the opposite, MAGA. So remember when Trump ran on exposing all the Democrats who were involved in Epstein? Now all of a sudden, he's threatened the GOP Congress, who are fighting to release all the Epstein-related records, saying releasing the information would be a very hostile act to the administration. So far today, only 4 House Republicans have signed the discharge petition. We need more of you MAGA Republicans to sign that petition. Grow some balls and get a backbone, ladies. So Trump reportedly screamed at his lawyers to sue Alexandra Cortez, the AOC. You know who that is? I like her. For calling him a rapist. Until they explained that doing so would require her attorneys to access the Epstein files. Ooh, I love it. And that would have to then, and he would have to testify under oath about Epstein. Then he got real quiet because, you know, Donnie don't want those Epstein files released because he's in the Epstein files and they want to, you know, non-redacted files. And it said Melania may be in there, maybe. Well, we not for sure. I heard that on the rumor street, you know. I don't know if it's true or it's false. I can't say. But they said Melania may be in them too. So Epstein was a CIA and Israel asset. Do y'all want to hear about that? Or do y'all want to save that one for tomorrow? Let's save that one for tomorrow, y'all. And I'm going to get back with you. I was going to eat some ice cream and wash my face, brush my teeth, and go to bed. I love y'all. Thank you for loving on me. Goodbye, everybody. God bless. Bye.